I'm talking now to Jenny Johnson of the European Mortgage Federation, European Covered Bond Council. The EMF has been doing an awful lot of work on green mortgages, the idea of a standard for an energy efficient mortgage. Can you tell me where that's leading? Are we going to have a label, and what a label for green would mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So in actual fact, an energy efficient mortgage label is the next item on our to-do list. We've already started to put in place the first building blocks, and we'll be working very intensively on this over the coming months. The basic idea, and this builds very much on our experience of the covered bond label and the success of the covered bond label, is to essentially put in place what is necessary to stimulate and sustain development, market development in relation to energy efficient mortgages by way of this label, which would support recognition of and confidence in energy efficient mortgages, and also facilitate access to information, quality, transparent, relevant, timely information to market participants. Now clearly, eligibility criteria will be fundamental to the label. We will use in the first instance our definition of an energy efficient mortgage, which we laid down in November 2018. But what we plan to do over time is investigate the extent to which it will be possible to introduce a kind of harmonized transparency template, which will be familiar to those familiar with the covered bond label, to disclose information around the labeled mortgages. And we'll use as the basis for that our data protocol that we've been putting in place under the Energy Efficient Mortgages Initiative. So really that's kind of what the label will be and what it will mean in terms of eligibility criteria.
You mentioned a couple of times about covered bonds there. Is the idea simply to develop a kind of a taxonomy of what's eligible for a green covered bond, or is the label going to be used more broadly than that?
I think it will really be used more broadly. We will spend the next couple of months trying to understand what role the label should play and for whom. But so, for example, for a bank, the label could be used in a first instance to indicate that the bank offers energy efficient mortgages and that these mortgages comply with certain conditions. So this will be around branding, but also around quality, around transparency.
Disclosure to the market.
Exactly. Yeah. But it could also serve equally well as a tool for consumers. So for consumers to recognize an energy efficient mortgage and understand what that means. So this is around, as I said, recognition, but also around confidence. But then, as you mentioned, quite rightly, you can imagine that the label could play quite an important role in covered bond issuance, green covered bond issuance. It could also play, particularly with the HTT in mind, a very important role with regard to
templates.
Yeah, right. The harmonized transparency template could play a very important role with regard to investor due diligence, but equally it could be used as a tool to report to regulators. For example, to try to secure lower capital requirements for these types of mortgages on the basis that they have a lower risk profile. So potentially the label could play many different roles to many different actors.
Feeding into a lot of different aspects.
Absolutely.
Now you represent though a European federation. The nature of mortgage markets in Europe is that they are very granular, they are very different from country to country. What can you do to take what you're doing on a pan-European level and take it to the national level?
This is really actually fundamental. And so you rightly use the word pan-European. This is where we focused our attentions for quite a long time, necessarily so. So we had our 52 pilot scheme banks around the table. We discussed all of the issues around putting in place an energy efficient mortgage product and framework at a pan-European level. But it became very apparent quite quickly that in order really to achieve market development and over an accelerated time frame, we needed to take all of that learning to the national level and really drill down on what the priorities are for that market, what the obstacles are, what the potential solutions are. So we established national market hubs. We have, I think, 6 to 8 national market hubs which are doing some really great work. We're about to launch 2 market demonstrators, so kind of sandbox environments in Italy and the UK. And we also plan in the coming months to secure EU funding to help the existing national market hubs to kind of scale up their activities, but also to help us to enlarge the geographical scope of these national market hubs. And hopefully, let's say, in relation to the CEE region, we'd love to see more pilot banks from the CEE region and establish some national market hubs here. So those are really the kind of the next steps and the real focus on the national level.
Excellent. Sounds like a fantastic initiative. Good
Thank you.
luck with it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.